stand out as a leader. I'm going to share with you how staying calm will automatically help you to stand out from everybody else. And in this video, we're going to talk about what it means to be calm as a leader and why so many people struggle with it. And if you can learn how to master this skill, you will definitely stand out from everybody else. First, I want to say if you're watching this video for the first time, I appreciate you being here. And if you were one of my viewers that were watching a few moments ago, my daughter decided to come in and she was really upset. And so if you are a parent, you know your kids cries and when they're really upset. And so she pretty much hijacked the video. So sorry about that. She's fine now. But some of the reasons why being calm as a leader will help you to stand out because most people, most leaders do not understand how to control themselves under pressure. I have seen C-suite executive, I have seen directors, I have seen so many people get very, 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 very emotionally charged and upset when something doesn't work the way they want it to work for them. And if you can be that leader that actually stands out from the crowd by staying calm, it will completely change the perception that everyone has of you. We're going to talk about it in this video. And if you are new to me, welcome, welcome. If you are one of my amazing subscribers, welcome back, friend. I am glad that you are here. This is an opportunity for you to learn some advanced communication skills. This channel heavily focuses in on advanced communication skills and strategies. So you will learn how to communicate more confidently and concisely under pressure as a leader. Now, as I mentioned, if you want to try to stand out from everybody else, start learning how to master and manage your emotions under pressure. Most of the time, when you are a leader and you are leading other people and you are providing support to other individuals, there are a lot of eyes that are on you all of the time. How many of you have been in a situation as leaders where you have noticed that people tend to pay a bit more closer attention to you when they are upset? Or when they are concerned or when they are worried. Have you noticed that happen before? It happens a lot when you are a leader. And most of the time, when people are following the leader, so to speak, they want to follow someone who appears to be calm, who can actually handle and manage very complex situations. Now, I want to know from you how many of you have been in a very, very, very tough situation as a leader and perhaps you did very well with that situation, or maybe you did not do as well with that situation. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Now, I want to say hello and welcome to those of you watching the live today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are in today or you are joining from today. And have you ever been in a situation where you want to stand out as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. All right, I want to say hello to I want to say Kawa, but I feel like I'm saying it incorrectly. Hello, I'm Russian. Hello, welcome, welcome. How you doing today? We have Aaron Atwell 3222 from Australia. Well, welcome, welcome. Good to see you all today. Let me know if you've ever been in a situation where you have perhaps struggled with communicating when you are under pressure. Let me know in the comments below. If you want to stand out as a leader, remaining calm is very important for you to do that. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. All right, I want to say hello to Juicy 3983. Hello, I'm American. Hello, Juicy. How you doing today? Aaron Atwell says, Playa soup. I don't know what you're referring to. Chaz, man of culture, says, I thought we were done for the day laughing. Yes, well, I didn't want to be done, Chaz, and thank you for your high five. I'm just going to give you a high five, Chaz. Thank you for coming back because I wasn't planning to be finished at that time, but my baby just came in here and hijacked the live. So, but it's okay. But I appreciate that. I decided that I wanted to come back because it's still relatively early and I want to give you all as much value as I can. Ches was on the previous live where my daughter interrupted it briefly, and now we're back. But as I mentioned, being calm and staying calm as a leader will help you out because many times people get very emotionally charged when they're in these situations and they get really mad, they get upset. Some of your best leaders, look at your world leaders, they respond sometimes in a way where they come across as just being just angry and just mad at individuals. And it makes people question, well, what happens when the pressure is on? Is people do not feel comfortable with a leader when they are showing that they simply can't take the pressure. Now, that's a little bit different than being just a human. Okay, so there's a couple things that we all deal with as humans, and there's certain situations that may be more challenging than others. But if you can be that person that continues to remain calm, even when you're under immense pressure, it will make you stand out as a leader because, believe it or not, many leaders have not learned how to master this skill. Why is that? Most of the time, when you are in a leadership position, and let me know if you've all experienced this as leaders, you are constantly dealing with fires. You are constantly dealing with people that are trying to tell you what's going on or give you something difficult to do or some complex task. There's so many things that happen to us as leaders, and we just get to the point where we just become completely overloaded and you're just done with everything. You're done with how people are speaking to you, communicating with you, and that's the point where you just completely lose it on people. You don't want to be that kind of leader. That's why staying calm will help you. Now, there's a couple things that happen in terms of how you can actually stay calm. We talked about this a little bit earlier today. I had a live this morning where we talked about how to not sound angry when you are angry. So take a look at that. The live that we just did a moment ago that was briefly interrupted by my daughter, we talked specifically about how staying calm can help you basically when you are boiling mad and upset. And now I want to talk about how when you are able to do this, it will help you to stand out from everybody else as a leader. Now, I want to know from you, how many leaders have you all seen, or if you have anyone that you want to mention that you have seen that have not responded well under pressure? That first question. Second question is, how did that situation or that perception factor into your thoughts about that person? I'll give you an example while I'm waiting for some responses. I used to work in senior executive roles. I will not say which one specifically, but I've worked in senior executive roles where my supervisors have been upset. And sometimes when you're in executive positions and you're with other peers, you're going to see sparks fly, fireworks fly just in your room that you're in. I'm just telling you that that's honestly what happens. But what happened in this particular case, Ed Brook, hello, welcome, welcome, friend. Hope you're doing well. What happened in this particular case is that there was a situation that happened, and our leader, so to speak, got really, really angry. And the context of what was going on, there was pressure associated with it, but it's one of those things that comes with leadership. If you are in any kind of leadership role as a senior leader or executive, there's a certain amount of pressure. I'm sorry, you are going to have to learn how to deal with. And I know that may not be what some of you all want to hear today, but if you are in those type of roles, there's some pressure you have to learn how to manage. And if you're struggling with that, you absolutely want to contact me for a high stakes communication intensive because I will help you to not have this struggle occur to you anymore. But to me, when I saw that leader react in that way, I thought to myself, well, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. This is an issue, but this is a part of your job. This is a part of what you deal with and you signed up to do when you are leading organizations and etc. It made my perception a bit more, I would say, cautious because I wondered, well, if this person is not able to manage a high stakes, high pressure situation like this, then what else do I need to be concerned about that you may not be able to handle? These are reasons why your executive presence and building an executive presence will be a skill, a trait that will completely set you apart from everybody else. And being calm under pressure will automatically cause you to elevate in terms of how you communicate to other people, especially as a leader. Okay, so Ed Brook says, hi, do you remember me? Of course, Ed. I remember you, friend. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. So I talked to you a bit about why it makes you stand out. Most people, most leaders, they know how to communicate. But when a conversation goes under pressure, when the situation goes under pressure, when challenges happen to other people, then that is when you really see how they're able to communicate and deal with pressure. If you can master this skill, you will automatically stand out from everybody else. If you do not master this skill, you may still be in your leadership role, but there's going to be a certain amount of advancement that people will notice about you that maybe this person's not really ready to step up to that next level, because most of the time when you're in those higher level or any type of leadership role, people come back up and they start to just, they just know that they're going to that next level. All right, Hidden Human TV. Hello, Hidden Human TV. Hello. High five, friend. How you doing today? Hidden Human TV says, "Good evening, y'all." Well, Hidden Human TV, I know you are growing on your channel, friend. So congratulations on that. Good to see you. Good to see you. I haven't had the chance to be on your videos here recently because I had a couple things going on transition wise, but always good to see you here, friend. Appreciate you being here. So we talked about that. We've talked about how you can master this skill. Just try to stay calm. I know I'm saying that, but I've went over a lot today in terms of specifically how you want to stay calm. Just a brief overview for everybody watching. You want to manage your tone of voice. You want to be mindful of what you say. Buy yourself a bit of time to speak. Ask the clarifying questions so you can truly understand specifically what someone is saying to you so that you can respond back. Chess Man of Culture had a really great scenario that he came up with in our previous live that was interrupted by my daughter, but our previous live specifically about what happens when this person is not complying and they are not cooperating with you. How do you manage that? So you want to make sure you're in a place where you can go ahead and control the conversation and wrap the conversation up if you feel like someone's bantering back and forth with you. But of course, if you feel as if you're in a situation where you feel a bit threatened, then you definitely want to make sure that you end the conversation very quickly. Okay, let me go to the chat. Hidden Human TV says, "Thanks so much. I appreciate you 100." Of course, friend, you are so very welcome. Hidden Human TV says, "Can I share some of your videos?" Absolutely. You can share any of my videos. There's a lot of things we've been talking about. There's a very interesting conversation. Chaz Man of Culture was a part of it that we had earlier in our previous live. That is something I will definitely repost because we turned around a potentially very offensive statement that was made about my ethnicity into something that was a teaching moment. So yes, you can share any of my videos. As you know, Hidden Human TV, you have some really great content as it relates to the psychology of how people think and etc. And I'm working on the high stakes communication aspect of it that people tend to struggle with when they are under a lot of pressure. Let me know, what are some of the challenging situations that you have seen happen with leaders or you saw a leader completely lose it. Now, I will say this. I haven't had a chance to watch the interview yet, but this is recent news. This happened, I think, a couple days ago. There was an interview with Donald Trump and a news anchor. I think her name is Kirsten, I believe. There was an interview that they had. There was some conversation that took place, and he left the interview. That may be, I haven't watched the entirety of it, so I don't know specifically what was asked and all of that. But that would be an example of someone leaving when there was pressure. I don't know the specifics, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head. There's a lot of different situations where I've seen not only world leaders, but even celebrities and other individuals that have been on TV interviews where the pressure was a bit too much, or maybe the conversations appear to be going in a very just contentious way. Maybe the questions they were asking were really annoying questions. I don't, it just depends. But I see people leave, and sometimes that's, you can see that response where there's a balance. Sometimes you may have situations that come up that are under pressure that you're going to have to respond to, but then sometimes there's situations where you feel like, you know what, this is a complete waste of my time, I'm out of here. So keep that in mind. There's different scenarios that come up, but let me know what scenarios that you all have seen, maybe in your day-to-day lives, where you have seen leaders struggle with being able to remain calm under pressure. I gave you one scenario that happened to me. There's a lot of different scenarios that I can share with you in terms of how I've seen leaders just kind of lose it. One of the things that happens a lot of times when leaders lose it or they are not calm under pressure is they take their frustration out on the people that they are working with. And that is the absolute worst thing you can do as a leader. It truly does impact your team. They don't understand, especially if you're a very jovial person, they don't understand why are you treating them this way? Why are you acting this way? Because you are not able to stay calm under pressure. You could be having the worst day of your professional life and still talk to your team as you normally would. But some people, they really struggle with this because they just have not learned how to manage and stay calm under pressure as a leader, which is the reason why sometimes they don't advance the way they want to advance, because there's just certain aspects of leadership that you have to learn how to manage. Okay, Chaz Man of Culture says how to remain professional during during high situations and avoid letting your emotions kick in. There's a lot of things, Chaz, and I'll go into them just really briefly that can help you in those situations. I know you're subscribed to the channel, so you know a lot of the content that we talk about. But if if I had just a quick checklist, okay, just a checklist of saying, okay, Chaz, man of culture, and everybody else watching, when you're in these high pressure situations, how to not let your emotions get kicked in, because it can happen to the best of us. It can happen to the best of us. This would be my checklist, and I may not list every single thing, but I'll list if I was in a situation right now where I had to figure out exactly what was going on. First, you have to know your triggers. This is the most important thing. I talk about this a lot. There are certain situations, there are certain circumstances that will be triggers for you. So if you go into those high stakes situations knowing that if someone speaks to me this way, that's a trigger. If someone looks at me this way, that's a trigger. If someone talks about this aspect of maybe my personal life in a professional setting, that's a trigger. So you have to know what are the things that are going to make Chaz Man of Culture mad? What are the things that are going to just completely cause those emotions to kick in? So that's the first thing that I would do is I need to do a bit of work within me first to try to get myself ready for those challenging situations when they come up. Thank you for the heart emojis, friends. So first, I need to know my triggers. I need to know myself. I need to know what's going to make me upset. I have my own triggers just like everybody else. And so make sure you know your triggers first. The second thing I would say to check off on the list is I know what my triggers are. Develop some kind of response to those triggers. So if you know that if someone looks at you in a way that maybe appears to be sarcastic or rude, or you just get the sense that they are not they're not being cordial to you, they're trying to get you in trouble or trying to give you a hard time, then you have to be able to read people. Because many times when you are in those professional situations, Chaz, situations may come up where people try to catch you off guard. But if you pay very close attention to people's nonverbal cues, what their body is saying, what their facial expressions are saying, it will tell you a lot about what's going on in the room. It will tell you what people are thinking. And I say this because there's just some aspects of those high pressure communications in terms of how to not let your emotions kick in, you have to do a little bit ahead of time. So if you start to observe the room and you're noticing that this person looks like they're happy, this person looks like they're upset, then I have it in my mind, okay, I need to be mindful of what I say here. I need to be a bit more careful here. I know I'm starting to develop in my mind, okay, this is what's going on in the room. Let me start to prepare myself mentally for what's about to happen here. I see that we may have a debate, there may be a potential argument, or someone may say they're frustrated based on what specifically I'm starting to notice as I'm reading the room. So, reading the room is a big part of it. So, we talked about your triggers, developing your responses. So, if someone responds to you in that way, you may want to say, can you clarify, as I mentioned earlier, what you mean by this statement? Or I see that you have some concerns about this, or what questions do you have about this? Those are ways to help you start to understand better in terms of what's going on and develop your own responses. So, for instance, for me, if someone talks to me about something that's a trigger for me personally, if you know me or if you interacted with me personally in professionally in different settings, there's certain things that you may not even notice it. And I try to make it that way. That's why I'm sharing the secrets with you all. There's certain topics, there's certain triggers, there's certain aspects of my life I'm not talking about or I don't feel like I need to discuss. I will quickly turn that conversation around to something else so fast that you probably wouldn't even know that I did it. And so I like to deflect if I feel like it's something that I don't think is appropriate to be discussed. So you have to think of, well, if someone says something to me, Chad, specifically about this part of my life or this project or etc., then what is the response you want to say? What do you want to say specifically to this person if this comes up? And just have that in the back of your mind. Everybody has triggers. You don't have to write a list of all of your triggers, but you need to have an idea what has happened professionally in the past that has been a little bit of a trigger for you. I know you share some situations happen to you, so I can understand some of the things you may be frustrated with, but just know you need to develop what kind of response about these triggers. So if someone asks me a personal question, I may say, oh, I have ABC. I acknowledge the question, But then after that is the deflect, and I will talk about something else related to a specific project just turn it off. Most time, unless you're a high stakes communicator like myself or other people that are subscribed to my channel, you wouldn't even notice it. You would hear, oh, she answered a question, then we start talking about something else more productive. How did we even get here? That's how you that's how you start to learn how to really be able to determine what's going on in this conversation, what are my triggers, what are things I don't want to talk about specifically. Another thing, as I mentioned about reading people, is really important. The emotional aspect of it is how to just remain calm. And a lot of times when you go into those high pressure situations, Chaz, it's so important just to remember that you want to gather data. And I know this may sound like, what in the world does that have to do with being under pressure and trying to remain professional so your emotions don't kick in? It's good to be a gatherer of information. So, for example, Chaz, just a moment ago when we had that person make the comment about you look like a good black person. You know how that person said that, Chaz, because you was a part of it. And I had to gather data first. Okay, I had to gather data first. What is this person trying to say? What are they trying to say? What are they saying here? I had to gather data first and determine, okay, is this person friendly or they unfriendly? And I have to make a decision real quick in terms of what I'm going to do. So when you're in those situations and you feel like emotions are kicking in, think about it from an unbiased standpoint. Okay, what is this person trying to say? Let me make sure I have enough information that I need so I know how to respond. When you do those type of thought process in your mind, it's very fast, but it helps you to start gaining control of your thoughts and gaining control in terms of how you respond. In chess, when you start developing that and you start gaining that control in terms of, okay, I can control how I respond, I can control my emotions, it starts to help empower you so that things don't bother you as much. I hope that gives you something to think about. There's a lot of things I can go into as it relates to that, but if that was my checklist, those are the things I would check off first. I would want to know what they're talking about, gather more data so that I can respond in the most appropriate way so that my emotions are not getting the best of me. Be objective and just listen. And you make that determination whether this person is a friendly or they're not friendly, or you just in between. And if you're in between, you're going to always respond in a more direct way. It doesn't matter if they're in between nicely, still be in a more direct way, specifically as it relates to that conversation. Okay, so let me go to the next one. Chessman of Culture. Anna, hey Anna. Anna is like my best friend. High five, Anna. How are you? Anna says, great tips. Thank you. Anna is a dear friend of mine. I love Anna to death. Anna is just a gem. Her and her family are just she's one of my classmates from dental school. I can't speak enough about Anna. She is absolutely amazing. And I just appreciate you being here, Anna. It's so good to see you, friend. I can't wait to talk to you here pretty soon. Okay, Chaz Man of Culture says, know your triggers, develop a response to your triggers, be able to read people's intentions. Got it. Thank you. Absolutely, Chaz. That is exactly what you want to do for sure. It will help you on your journey to managing those very high pressure situations because those emotions start to come up. Another thing is when you feel those emotions come up, Chaz, we'll go into that more, is that you'll start sometimes people will notice that their heart starts to beat. Okay. How many of you have ever been in those situations where you get really upset and you feel your heart beating? Everybody has felt that. If someone tells you they have not, they are not being truthful to you. So it happens. So what do you do with that? Because sometimes it's almost as if you're speaking in public. Your heart may start racing, your palms may start to become sweaty, all those things. So, how do you manage that? Breathing and listening, and just knowing that this is uncomfortable for me. The more I do it, the more I will practice doing it, and I'll be at a place where I can start building up my stamina for high pressure situations. The first time you deal with situations like this, Chaz, specifically, it may feel that way where you feel those emotions, Chaz. You feel those emotions just starting to come up, right? And when they do, you have to remember that it's okay that I feel uncomfortable. This is how I'm going to grow. And so just keep doing it. The more you do it, the more you start to feel comfortable, and the more those feelings you have, those butterflies, so to speak, will start to go away, and you'll start to feel a little bit more in control in terms of how you are communicating in those situations. So let me know what other questions you all have. I appreciate your patience, Chess. Thank you for coming back, friend, after my interruption today with my daughter. And These are great ways to help you stand out as a leader. I appreciate each and every one of you. The channel has grown tremendously here. We are at 890 subscribers, I think, when I checked the other day. And so I have a video I'm going to talk about what I've been doing for the past couple weeks because I have not been as consistent on my live. Well, on my lives, I've been consistent, but I haven't been posting as much because I've been doing a lot of things. But I just appreciate each and every one of you for watching my content and being here and being one of my subscribers because we're growing a great community. I'm really excited to be a part of each one of your journey and learn so much about you and do a lot more amazing and fun things. All right, let me go to the chat. ACGB2044, high five, friend. How have you been? I know it's been a little while since I've seen you. ACGB2044 says, hello, everyone. Well, good to see you, friend. So, there's a lot of things that are going on, as I mentioned a little bit yesterday. So just keep an eye out for my ebook. This ebook. Thank you for the heart emojis, friends. It's a ebook specifically that is going to be free. It talks about communicating under pressure. So this is a very small ebook that I'm going to be releasing. It has an assessment in it, so it will help you out tremendously if you are trying to figure out, well, how do I communicate under pressure? What do I do? And what are some aspects of how I communicate that I could potentially improve upon? This is a really good assessment for you to do. I have a book that I'm writing, so I'm working on that. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the video. And now that the channel is growing, I'm going to be creating another channel because as Hidden Human TV knows, when you reach a certain there's certain milestones that we reach on the content creator journey. And so the first milestone that you reach is hitting 1,000 subscribers or you're hitting your watch hours. And what happens when you are going to hit that first milestone? Hitting your 1,000 subscribers is a really big deal in the world of YouTube because it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, especially when you're going from 0 to 1,000. So the fact that we're almost at that number right now just means a lot. I appreciate you being here and sharing the information to other people that you know that want to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure as well. But I am going to be doing another channel also that's going to be a bit different, but I'm still going to be obviously here with my business channel. But that channel is going to be a little bit funner. You'll have more fun things to watch on that channel and learn a little bit more about me personally. But ultimately, my mission here is to help you all communicate confidently and concisely under pressure. And as many of you know, I am going to create the largest high stakes, high pressure communication content library for leaders on planet Earth. So everything's still going to be here. I'm still going to develop that. So just know I'm not going anywhere, but it's going to be a little bit more things that are going to go on because we're reaching milestones on the channel. ACGB2044 says, awesome. I can't wait to read it. Well, fantastic. I will definitely share it out to everybody. So before we go, have any of you been in situations where you have seen leaders not remain calm under pressure? Let me know in the comments below. This is something that if you can learn how to master this, people will automatically start to view you a bit differently as a leader because most leaders, they know how to communicate. But when the conversation goes under pressure, as I say, or it becomes a bit more contentious, or it might be a little bit more challenging, that's when a lot of times leaders will not communicate the way they want to, and it's just because they have to be trained on how to do that, which is why you subscribe to the channel. So let me know what your thoughts are if you've ever had leaders like that. And if you have any questions specifically, any topics that you are potentially dealing with or situations you're dealing with, let me know on any of the videos, on any of the comments. You're welcome to take a look at the playlist I have. If you see something that resonates with you and you think to yourself, I know I was in this situation and I would like to learn more, just put something in the comments. If the content requires a bit more depth, I will do a video and give you a shout out in the video just so I can help support you on your journey. I'm here to help you any way that I can. Please come to me with the hard situations and the hard issues. The easy ones are fine. I can take care of those, but the hard ones are my expertise. So I'm here to help you navigate those very challenging situations that will come up a lot as you are navigating the wonderful world of leadership. If you happen to be a woman in leadership, you're welcome to check out my website at exciteexcellence.org, where I have different services that I can support you with, specifically my high stakes communication intensive. It will completely change your life with pressure tests, video feedback, all of that. If you've ever frozen when you've spoken in front of people and you didn't know what to say, you will not deal with that anymore, ever again. Okay, Chaz Man of Culture says, any books you would recommend for finance management? Chaz, I'm actually glad you mentioned that, friend, because I am on a book mission right now, and I'm actually reading a lot of books. And I have a couple of books that I am planning to read by August. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But as it relates to finance management, I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad twice. I've read that book twice. I actually like that book so much that I read it twice, but it was a really good book. It may not necessarily be directly finance management in terms of investing, etc., but it was a good book for me just to really think about assets and liabilities, and specifically, what are some things that are assets, what are some things that are liabilities, specifically as it relates to just yourself personally. It helps you to think about things differently. So, Chaz, I don't know if you've seen that one or not, read that book or not, but that's one. There's a lot of different books, and there's a book I have not read this yet, Chaz, but I heard another dentist was talking about this on School of Mentors. The book is called A Simple Path to Wealth. It is a book that I am going to be purchasing here very soon. I have 3 books I'm reading right now, but as soon as I finish up with those books, I'm going to read A Simple Path to Wealth. So that may be one you want to check out. And Chaz, if I see any other books, I will absolutely let you know. One of the things I will do, because you mentioned that, Chaz, and I really appreciate that, because this channel, it focuses heavily on communication, advanced communication. But ultimately, I want you all, regardless of where you are in the world today, to grow and enhance yourselves as individuals. And finance management and knowing how to create wealth is a part of that. Anything that I learned on my journey, I will share with you. And if there's anything that you all have learned, please share it with the community. Well, you do have the ability to put a post in the community. So if there's something that you're learning that can benefit us all, let's do it. Let's do it together, because many of us on this channel specifically, you all are a very exceptional group of individuals, because most people do not want to even learn how to communicate at a higher level, let alone watch videos on it. And so the fact that you're here, it means you are already at a heightened level than other people. And learning how to build that wealth and finance management will help with that also. So maybe check out A Simple Path to Wealth. I haven't read it yet, so I've heard it is very, very good, but that may be something to check out. Let me know if there's any other ones. There's a lot of other books I've heard of, Chaz. I just at the top of my head, I can't remember them just because I haven't looked at them in a while. I've been a bit more focused on business books. So, for example, I just finished, well, I have about 20 pages left to read for Grant Cardone's 10X rule book. I just am almost finished with that book. I'm reading a book right now called The Company of One. I just started reading that one over the weekend for my birthday. There's another book that I have called The Big Leap that I'm reading, and then there's another book that I have called If You're Not First, You're Last. It's by Grant Cardone. So I'm reading, those are my books. I'm actually trying to read those 3 books between now and August. I'm really going to push myself to read more books. And that's the reason why A Simple Path to Wealth came up for me when you mentioned that, because that was on my list of books I was going to read. I did not have the chance to acquire that book just yet, which is the reason why I decided to go in a different direction, because I'm building my business, growing my business, and etc. Okay, Chaz Man of Culture says, thank you. Absolutely, Chaz. Let me know what your thoughts are. But I would say Rich Dad Poor Dad is it's a good book to start with, to give you something to think about. And as soon as I find out some more finance books, what I'll do for you, Chaz, as I'm reading books also, I'll put them in the post, and I'll put a financial book that I'm reading. It may help the audience. And I'll try to do a little bit more with my posting so I can let you know if I see any other books that may be really good books. Just for me, as someone that I like to at least be able to tell you, I've read this book, I really like it. That's the only reason why I'm hesitant about The Simple Path to Wealth, because I just haven't read it, but I believe it's probably a pretty good book. But anything else I see, I will definitely put it out to the audience so that you all can see other books that I'm reading. And if it inspires you, then I hope that it does. Chaz, I know you're doing a lot of amazing things. And the fact that you're even asking about finance management means that you're trying to elevate yourself too. Because many people, they struggle with this. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to get started. And I really do believe that it starts with us. And the earlier that we learn about finance management, the better it is for us. I had my daughter reading Rich Dad Poor Dad with me. And she hasn't read the whole book because she's just, she's not ready to do all that. But she's big, not my baby, okay, my oldest one. But it's a good book for kids to read because I'm trying to help my daughter, even though she's young, to start understanding, oh, this is an asset. Oh, this is a liability. Because I know for me personally as a child, those words were never spoken about in my household. I didn't know what those words were until several years ago when I read this book. I want to make sure we're empowering as many people as possible. And if I see anything else, Chaz, I will definitely make sure I post it out to you and post it out to the audience as well. But that's a fantastic question. So I appreciate you all so much for being here. Let me know what questions you have. We talk about communication, but just as Chaz mentioned about finance management, I really want to help you all grow. If there's something I can help you with, or if I have some insights, I absolutely will do that. But if it's something that I do not have insight on, I will tell you very quickly, I do not have insight on that, but I'll probably share with you what I do know about it, right? Remember, we don't say I don't know, we say what we do know specifically. So I appreciate you all so much. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. I appreciate everybody for coming back. We had Chasman of Culture, of course, has been here twice this evening. We had Ed, Hidden Human TV. We have my best friend Anna, and we have ACGB 2044. So I appreciate you all being here and being the most amazing part of my YouTube journey and my life. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.